Shalom and good evening, family. Coming up here to give you the Passover message 3. I wanted you to have this message before we go into keeping our Father's Passover and Feast of Unleavened Breads. Forgive my tongue, y'all. This is an 8-day holy celebration unto us and to give honor and to remember what his son has done for us, Yahushua Hamashiach. For without him, we cannot return to our original status. And the status I speak of is the status of Adam, for those who understand those mysteries. So I'm going to get straight to the point because tonight, y'all, this is freestyle. This is something that I have not taken the time out to type out to put together because y'all, I'm on cloud 10 and I'm just hearing him speak unto me. I'm seeing the mystery of what I was sharing with y'all in the Passover first and second message. And I had told y'all to for homework to do the study about the Ark of the Covenant. Oh yes. So we're going to go back and revisit the walls of Jericho because there may have been some details that I did not give you in the first or the second message that will complete what you need to know. So when you enter into this 8-day holy festival, you can see why we have to study from the beginning to the end, from the old to the new. Because if you don't understand the past, you're not going to understand the present. And then you're not going to understand what is yet to come. All of this is to prepare you for the kingdom of heaven. So let us begin. What y'all see before y'all is an ark. Okay? And the Bible will call this the Ark of the Covenant or the Ark of Testimony. And I'm going to go ahead and give you this. Covenant and testimony will go hand in hand. And you will see why. It's very important that y'all look that up. Get your strong concordance. And you will see covenant and testimony go hand in hand. And you will see why the living word interchangeably use those words in and out, because it relates to the greater mystery. Okay? A greater mystery. This is just a simple picture to give you an idea, but I highly recommend that y'all go back and study Torah as well as the other scriptures to get an idea what did the Ark of the Covenant look like, because this does have a role to play in what is to come. Okay? So let us get this part of the way. I may be sharing some copyright material with you. The title of this third message is Passover Message 3. Forgive my typo. The Ark of the Covenant and, okay, it will be the mystery. Didn't take it too quick. The mystery of the Ark of the Covenant and the walls of Jericho. The walls of Jericho. Okay? And when you have some free times, those who are new or just the first time you're hearing these messages, please make sure you watch the walls of Jericho falling down and y'all rebuke to the Israelites. Okay? Also, in the video description box, please listen to Yahuwah prophetic messages because he is speaking now. He has given us instruction with us for what we need to do in this time and in this generation. Also, watch the Holy Days and Holy Feasts playlist for these videos will be added. And you will see it's a lot that the Father wants us to learn and to understand about the Passover and about the Feast of Unleavened Bread and how it relates to his son, Yahushua HaMashiach, and how it also relates to the biblical prophecies and to the bride of the Messiah, to the 144,000, and to the nation of Israel. Everything is connected, y'all. It's like a circle. And in the middle of the wheel, or in the center of the circle, is Yahuwah. For he is all, and all comes from him. All right, now that we got that out the way, as y'all see, I am on fire tonight. So I'm going ahead and tell you right now, go ahead and get out your pen and paper. Okay? Go ahead and get out your pen and paper because you're going to have to write this stuff down. Like I said, I'm doing freestyle tonight. All right? We first, to set the foundation, we're going to back to read Joshua chapter 6. Joshua chapter 6. All right, to set the foundation. However, I do recommend that you study this chapter along with the work of Josephus to get the inner details. And Bible trivia question unto you is that when was the month that our Father in heaven had the Israelites to set up his house? And I'm talking about his first house. And the first house was a tent tabernacle. Okay. What month and what day did they set that up? That's something for you to look up and to learn during this time of the Holy Festival. Because like I said, it's a lot of events that is tied in the month. Okay, there's a lot of events that's tied in this month that we are in the month of Aviv. Okay. All right, I'm reading from the King James 6 and 11, chapter 6, and we're going to start with verse 3, okay? And ye shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go round about the city once. Thus shalt thou do 6 days. Key words to write down: compass the city. That means they're going to surround the city, okay? And they're to go round the city once, okay? And they are to do this 6 days. That's very important. Write those key things out. Verse 4. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of rams' horns. Let me read this correctly, y'all. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horn. And the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times, and the priest shall blow with the trumpets. Father's telling me now, because I'm doing this freestyle, I do need to go ahead and break down these verses so I don't forget anything or leave anything out. Okay, so in verse 4, what we read, here are some key terms: 7 priests. What do we know about the priests, y'all? The priests are what? The sons of Aaron. These are the high priests. Only the high priest can go into the Holy of Holies. The things I'm speaking unto you, y'all, these are things that you should master. What do you should master? Torah and the gospel. Torah and the gospel. Because if you haven't mastered that, you're not going to stand the book of Joshua. You're not going to stand the order of things. So when you hear about the priests who are the high priests, who are the sons of Aaron, what that should remind you of? Who are they representing? The Holy One that is to come, who come after the order of the Melchizedek, who hold the office of what? Of the high priest and the office of a king. Okay, this is why I'm telling y'all, you got to walk in the whole volume of the book to see what these verses are saying to us. So you got 7 priests. That word 7 should remind you a lot of things. Go back to your foundation, Genesis, then with 7, and you will see 7 being talked about throughout the whole Bible. 7 represent holy, sanctified, upright, perfect, rest. Okay? It means something unto Yah. Okay? But he has 7 priests, and these 7 priests are to bear the ark. So they have to hold the ark. Why you think that is so? Because now we're about to define what that ark is and what does it represent. Okay? And then we have 7 trumpets of ram's horn. You got to ask yourself, why are the ram's horns? And we're going to go in the book of Revelation. You're going to see why the ram's horn. When you understand the animal kingdom and you understand what the horns represent, then you understand why the Father is telling the Israelites that the trumpets have to be made from the ram's horns. Okay? And then notice what he said in this verse. He said, the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times. Okay, so on the 7th day, they would go around the city 7 times. That's different from what the 6 days before. Write that down. And then on that same day, the priest shall blow with the trumpets. Okay, So compass the city 7 times. It's giving you a time. It's giving you a date. What is something that the Father has given as example or something that goes around in a circle or in a circuit or in a revolution? For those who are masters of YAHUAH's calendar, which consists of the sun, the moon, the stars, when you hear the word compass, we know it means to complete a revolution, a circuit, a time. So the Father's also giving you a date here. A date. 7 days. Now we know a day unto the Father is what? A day unto the Father is 1,000 years. So he's giving you a date. Okay? Like I said, it's a message within a message. All right, let's go to the next verse, verse 5. And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram horn, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great joy. With a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people ascend up every man straight before him. Notice that in addition to the trumpet, he has the people to shout. Okay, those are some notes for you to write down. So I will read verse 6. And Joshua the son of Nun called the priests and said unto them, Take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of Yahuwah. Now notice here the 7 trumpets that is carried or bared by the 7 priests had to go before the ark. So we know the trumpets of the ram horn is to what? To announce something is coming. It is to announce judgment. It is to announce the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Again, when you understand these holy feast days, such as Feast of Trumpets, do you understand this part? Do y'all see how everything is connected together? Father is expecting you to see this now. Because what he did to Jericho is a sign. It is a testimony unto you. It is telling you what is coming. Now, some of y'all are connecting the dots already. Okay? So notice the order of things. The trumpets had to go before what? The Ark of the Covenant. Another word for the Ark of the Covenant is the Ark of the Testimony. The Ark of the Testimony. In your spare time, you're going to have to read this chapter quietly. Now, for homework, I had told y'all would have to learn what was in that ark, because Father's telling us something. The next thing that the Father's reminding me, telling you to write down, notice that who is giving these instructions to the priests? It is Joshua. Joshua is the English name for Yahusha. When you study word transliteration, you go from the Hebrew to the Greek to the Latin to the Old English to the Modern English. You will learn that the son of Nun had the same name as the son of Yah. Also, when you read the 1611 version, you will see in the side note in Hebrews chapter 4, when it talked about the son of Nun, you would see the Greek way of spelling his name. I believe it's Ioshuah. Ioshuah. For those who study the correct transliteration, believe me, there has been some corruption. But through the same book, it's going to reveal it. So if you notice that he has the same name as the son of Yah, is for a reason. Again, the Father always give us what? A physical example or a carnal example to understand that is what yet to come, and to understand spiritual things. All right. Now, the direct answer to understand what's in the Ark of the Covenant, okay, can be found in the book of Hebrews chapter 9. But I do recommend you have to go back to the foundation to understand the history of things, of how those items got into the Ark of the covenant, known as the Ark of the Testimony. You want to write that down. Ark of the Covenant is the same as the Ark of the Testimony. And also in your research, testimony means witness. So covenant equals testimony equal witness. Write that down. Covenant equals testimony equals witness. All right, let's go. Let us go to Hebrews chapter 9. I'm going to start reading at verse 3. Again, I'm reading from the King James 6:11 in Hebrews chapter 9. For it says, and after the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called holiest of all. So this is in the most holies. Again, you understand what is the most holy. The most holy represents the Father's throne room. Okay, when you read Enoch's writings and stuff, you will see the comparison. For Torah teach you that these are the foreshadow of the things that will come, and they also foreshadow the things that is in heaven. Everything's connected, y'all. Remember that verse said, "What's done in heaven is also done in the earth." Okay. So these two realms gonna mirror one another. But to help us understand these things, Father gave us these things in the earth to understand heavenly things or to understand the most high things. So notice what's in the most holy, in the Father's throne room, okay, where only the high priest could go, who are what the sons of Aaron, who represent what? The one that will come after the Melchizedek order. Okay. Verse 4. Let us read that. Because now we begin to learn what's in the ark of the covenant, which is the testimony, which is a witness unto us. Verse 4. Which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant overlaid round about with gold. So the ark of the covenant is covered with gold. You need to ask yourself, why did the Father use gold? But we're going to get to it in a second. Wherein was the golden pot that had manna. Write that down. So the Ark of the Covenant had a golden pot that had manna in it. And I'm going to give you the verses to find this. You can find it in Exodus chapter 16. Exodus chapter 16. Because remember, in the days of Joshua, the manna ceased. You get to Joshua chapter 5. So you need to go to Exodus chapter 16 to see how they was able to get the manna in the Ark of the Covenant. Okay. Also, Father's telling me that you're going to have to read Torah to understand the history of how these things were made too. So you got some homework to do over these 8 days. All right. Now, also what was in the Ark of the Covenant, we have an Aaron's rod that budded. Now, to understand that historical piece, you're going to have to go to Numbers chapter 17. Numbers chapter 17. You're going to see how all these relate and why it's so important. And the last thing that was in the Ark of the Covenant, it was the tables of the covenant, or the 2 tables of stone that he gave unto Moshe. And many verses talk about that. Let me give you just a couple of them so you can look that up. Let me see where we at. For the sake of reading, we will go to the book of Exodus chapter 31. Also, Exodus chapter 25, we're going to look at verse 22. So we will do that in this video. However, y'all, other chapters you can read about this, dealing with the Ark of the Covenant, can be found in Exodus chapter 26, chapter 30, chapter 39, chapter 40, Numbers chapter 4, chapter 7, Joshua chapter 4, Exodus 31. And you know what? I got so many verses written down here, y'all. This to be on the safe side so you don't miss nothing. Read all the Torah. Okay. The talk of the Ark of the Covenant will be found in the book of Exodus. But Father is also reminding me what is another item that had the word ark in it that was dealing with Noah's Ark. That's another thing you could probably do a study on. This is to compare, but dealing with the Ark of the Covenant, you will see it being started in the book of Exodus. Okay, so to set the foundation, we're gonna come back to this verse. We're gonna look at why would the Father chose a golden pot to hold the manna. Now, to understand what the manna represent is dealing with the bread of heaven. And the one who is the bread of heaven can be found in John chapter 6. Who is that one that called himself the bread of heaven? It is Yahushua Hamashiach. Write that down. Now for the golden pot, we're going to go to the book of Matthew chapter 5 to understand about gold. Because we touched a little bit on it in part 1, in message 1. But the Father brought this to my attention today as I was meditating. He said, remember that verse? I said, I sure do, Father. And it can be found in Matthew chapter 5. And we go on to verse 8. Gold represents something. It means something. Okay? And when the Father said he's going to purify you like gold, you need to pay attention. Why did he want to purify you like gold? This is what the Messiah said, and I do highly recommend that y'all read this whole chapter. It's some very important things that the Messiah is saying here. Okay? Now, gold is used to represent what? Purity. There's no defileness in you. You are clean unto Yah. You are holy unto Yah. Okay? That's why you hear the prophets speak a lot that when you're going through your trials and tribulation, when you're going through the fire, he's going to purify you like he does with the gold. Because that's what fire does. It purifies you. It removes the impurity. Okay? And that's what the gold represent that holds the manna. Okay? That's why the Ark of the Covenant was overlaid with gold. Okay? Verse 8 says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see Yahuwah. When you understand that verse, it deals with a biblical prophecy that's by the prophet Ezekiel. And Ezekiel is given the blueprint of what we're going to do in the kingdom to come. And this verse touches heavily on what he says, what our Father will do. Okay, in the kingdom to come. I don't want to spoil it for you. You're going to have to read Ezekiel chapter 40 to 48, and the book of Revelation also touched on this too as well. So those who are pure in heart, so those who are like gold unto the Father, you will see him. Okay, so that take care of that part. Let us go back to Hebrews chapter 9. Then for Aaron's rod that budded, when you study the history, the Father kept that as a memorial for us. It was kept as a memorial, not only, okay, let me back that up. It was kept as a memorial for him because it's to remind him of something that he would do. Oh, he's going to do it. Okay. And this is dealing when he's gathering us. And you can find this under the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 20. We will go there now. Excuse me, y'all. All right. We're almost there. The budded rod of Aaron should remind you of this verse of what the prophet prophesies, okay, that will take place when he gather us, okay, from the four corners of the earth. And it's within verse 33 to verse 44. So I'm about to get down there now. But to understand the history of it, you're going to have to read Numbers chapter 17 for yourself. All right. When he bring us into the wilderness of the people, and this is the wilderness, the wilderness of the nations, okay? Because you would look that up in Hebrew, it's dealing with nations, okay? Um, and then when our Father plead with us face to face, and we know that's not dealing with no begging either. This is what our Father says. When we jump down, well, I'm gonna read verse 36, but the highlight verse we're gonna look at is verse 37 and 38. So I'm sorry, verse 36. Like as I plead with your father in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so would I plead with you, saith Yahuwah Elohim. So this is why I've been stressing y'all. You need to go back and study um, the biblical records or the past or what we call the Old Testament as well as the New Testament. You need to study them because what has been prophesied unto us will happen again. What I mean is history does repeat itself. And you don't want to make the same mistakes as your forefathers did. Okay? This is why I'm stressing to y'all, take these 8 days and get before y'all to really understand what this holy festival is saying unto us. Okay? Verse 37. And I will cause you to pass under the rod. Here's the key word. You want to underline under the rod. And I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. Do y'all see that? Another key word. He's going to bring us into the bond of the covenant. In verse 38, I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Yasharal, into the land of Israel. So the rebels going to be purged out, okay? And they will not be allowed to enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am Yahuwah. So the budded rod of Aaron is to remind our Father in heaven to deal with those rebels. To deal with those rebels. So we ought to have what? Gold represent the pure hearted who will see Yah. We have manna that represent the bread of heaven, which is Yahushua Hamashiach. And we have the budded rod of Aaron to show us that he will purge out the rebels. But this is going to tie into one thing. All right, let's keep going. So we go back to Hebrews 9. And the last thing is the tables of the covenant. So I told you that we would go to, let's first go to Exodus chapter 25. This is just highlights I'm giving to y'all, but y'all, it's many verses that y'all need to go back and read to see what took place in the days of Moshe when the covenant was established with the children of Israel. Okay? So Exodus chapter 25 verse. Actually, let me set the foundation. Let me go to Exodus 24. And we're going to look at verse 12. So Exodus chapter 24, verse 12. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, Come up to me into the mount and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone, and a law and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. So this is very important to know. All this that was given unto Moshe, and we know the tables of stone was written with the finger of Yah. So our Father wrote it himself. And notice that these tables of stone was placed in the Ark of the Covenant. All right, I'm going to get straight to the point what that represent. I just got one more verse I want to read unto you. Now you can find that verse about the table of stone written with the finger of Yah in Exodus chapter 31, verse 18. But also read these other chapters as well. You got chapter 31, chapter 34, and chapter 40. Okay, so now we're going to go to 25. Okay, I'm in Exodus chapter 25. We're going to go to verse 22. It says here, we're just going to read a little higher because another thing you want to study is about the mercy seat, but you'll see what I'm leading to now. Verse 21 says, and thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee. So I done told you what the testimony was. Okay, go back to Exodus 24. All right, but let's keep reading. Verse 22, and there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the two cherubims, which is upon the ark of the testimony, of all things which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel. So remember to go back and look at Exodus chapter 24. Notice that he gave him a table of stone that he wrote, that our Father in heaven wrote with his own finger, a law and commandments. These are the instructions he gave unto Israel to keep and to follow. Okay. Also, let's see here. With the mercy seat, just a quick note, look at your 10 commandments. Notice that unto a certain generation, look at what the Father gave mercy unto. And also for further study, you want to do a word search on the word mercy, as well as in the Old Covenant and the New Testament or the New Covenant. Okay, do a word search on that because that does tie in with the art, and you'll see why and what I'm leading to. Okay, so to sum this up, we have what? The golden pot that has the manna. We have Aaron's rod that budded to remind the Father to purge out the rebels. And now we have the tables of the covenant, which basically is what? The commandment, the law, the instructions. And when you add all this together, it is to represent the Holy One, who is the power, okay, who is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, who will come with a rod of iron. Okay, the book of Revelation talk about that. David prophesies about him. I think it's either in 1 Samuel chapter 23 or 2 Samuel chapter 23. He is the Holy One he is the Holy One who is the right hand of Yah, who is the stretch out arm of Yah, who has the rod and who will enforce his Father's kingdom upon this earth. He is that one that's given that authority, that office. And this is why he has the title of King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So when you look at the order when it came to the walls of Jericho, this is why the Father had instructed that the 7 priests with the 7 rams with the 7 trumpets made from ram's horn had to go first because it is to announce the Holy One who will be bringing judgment in the earth, signifying to us about what the millennium reign to come. Because remember, it was prophesied in the book of Songs that he would sit on the seat of David. For the house of David or the tabernacle of David will be rebuilt again in the earth. And he will what? Rule over us or enforce his Father kingdom in this earth. No longer will the wicked rule anymore, and he will conquer Satan. Remember, we was talking about being set free, no longer a slave, no longer bound or afflicted by the powers of darkness. This is why, this is what the ark represents. The spirit of Yah, known as the comforter of Yah, known as the one that was implanted in Adam before the fall. Mysteries that I speak unto you. I'm gonna give you some more verses to prove to you what I'm saying. I just had to go, right straight to the point there. Because soon the physical art will be put away with. Now I can take you to the verses, but just read that for yourself. Jeremiah chapter 3. Jeremiah chapter 3 says that the day would come that the children of Israel will no longer remember the ark. We will have no need for it because something spiritual is going to take place with them. Remember all the prophets' writings about a new heart and a new spirit will be given unto the children of Yashael. But what is that new spirit? If you go back to the beginning, you will understand it is that same spirit that what moved across the waters. This is that same spirit who made all things. Father's now telling me to take you to that verse because many may not see what I'm saying right now. So you have to go to if you didn't see it in Torah, you can also see in the Apocrypha because in the Apocrypha, Ezra was giving more details about Genesis, about creation, about Adam, the makeup of Adam. And we can find that in 2nd Ezra chapter 16. 2nd Ezra chapter 16. Because when you study the Hebrew, as I'm going there now, Father's reminding me, study Yahushua Hamashiach name in the Hebrew. Look at the Hebrew letter. And one of the letters is iron. And iron means that he's what the eye says, light of the body. He is also the fountain of the living waters. So when you understand why he was implanted in Adam, okay? Do you understand what the ark represent? And the ark represent that you would now be the vessel who carry the spirit of Yah, which is the living word, who is Yahushua HaMashiach, who is the one that will what? Be a lamp unto your feet, who is your light of your body, who is the eye of your body. He is the one that shall lead and guide you in all things because he is what? The law. He is what? The commandments. He is that those two stones that you see because he is the living word of Yah, giving you instructions, giving you our Father's commandments and statutes and judgments that shall give you what? Eternal life. This is why I look at these Roman Christians. Y'all don't understand what the law is because the law had always existed since the beginning of time. This is how our forefathers knew how to worship Yah. This is how they knew what wife they should take. They knew all these things. It just didn't start with the children of Israel with their covenant. It's evidently there in the beginning. But you cannot see these things if you don't allow the Spirit to teach you. They thinking about the words and the letters and the paper, but when you pick up your whole book, pick up your Bible right now, y'all. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Because many don't get that book that you hold in your hand is Yahushua HaMashiach. He is those letters and those words on the paper. And this is why the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the Herodians could not catch him in his words. They could not twist him in his word because he is those words. He's all those sacred things that we read by the prophets, by the scribes, by our forefathers. But y'all thinking carnally and you're not understanding the spiritual things. This is why the Father had them to make the ark to let you know what's going to take place in you, what you lost, Adam. Do you hear me, Israelites and Gentiles? Do you see what I see when I study the walls of Jericho? Because I see the future. I see what shall come to pass. Remember, I told you the walls of Jericho are giving you a date. And when it's the Most High appointed time, I would go more into about the 7 days. He ought to give us the first, first example, dealing with the flood. Then the next 7 days, dealing with what? Fire. Fire. But let me give you this verse, 2nd Ezra chapter 16, so you can have that, in your studies. I know this a little bit advanced, and to my babes, what I need for you to do, go back to Genesis, read Genesis along with the gospel, and then you'll slowly start making the connection. Okay? Because what I'm giving now is meat. Meat. I'm giving spiritual things. I'm giving things where we should be now. Okay? But unfortunately, most of us been taught by these Pharisees, Sadducees, and Herodians. They're not there. It's not in them. They still stuck on things they've been talking about 20, 30, 40 years ago. All right, Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 61. We're going to read down to 63. Let me see. We're going to read down exactly down to 65. You also want to read Hebrews chapter 4 along with this. Then you'll understand this. And it says that he made man and put his heart in the midst of the body and gave him breath, life, and understanding. The thing you want to look here is the heart in the midst of the body. What was the heart that he implanted in Adam, in the male and in the female? Verse 62. Yes. And the spirit of Almighty Yahuwah. Who is that spirit of Almighty Yahuwah? Which made all things. Again, the book of Hebrews would tell you who also made these things along with our Father Yah. It's there. That's why he said, I know you. But as John has prophesied unto us in John chapter 1 of the gospel, the world knew him not, but he made all things. Okay? Yes, and the spirit of Almighty Yah, which made all things. Okay, this spirit of the Almighty Mar made all things, y'all, and searches out all hidden things in the secrets of the earth. So you cannot hide anything from our Father, because the living word, which is Yahusha Hamashiach, shall go back and report unto Yah what is in your heart. 63. Surely he knows your inventions and what you think in your hearts, even them that sin and would hide their sin. So he know what you did. There's no hiding from him. He got books, he got records he keeping for your day of judgment. So when you want to lie and not take ownership what you did, those books going to open, going to testify against you, going to be a witness against you. Again, the living word, which is Yahushua Mashiach, going to be what? A witness against you. 64. Therefore have Yahuwah Elohim exactly search out all your works, and he will put you all to shame. And when your sins are brought forth, ye shall be ashamed before men, and your own sins shall be your accusers in that day. This is another good chapter to read. As I'm reading this, we need to go to Revelation chapter 5. Because you remember I was telling you about the horns and stuff. But before we get into the horns, I do need to go to Revelation chapter 1, because again, the living word, who is what? Who is the law? Who is the commandment? Who is the what? The instructions. Okay? He is what? That lamp unto our feet. When you go to Revelation chapter 1, you will learn that the tabernacle witness is Yahushua HaMashiach. We're going to go to the book of Acts to confirm all this. But when you go to Revelation 1, it is telling you that Yahushua HaMashiach is a witness, is a testimony. Okay? Let me go here. That'll be quicker. All right. I thought that would be quicker, but let me just go right straight to it. So we go to Revelations chapter 1. Here you go. It starts in verse 5. And it says, and from Yahushua HaMashiach, the Messiah, who is the faithful witness. See, y'all hear that? Faithful witness. He is committed unto his Father. He's about doing his Father will. He's about doing his Father business and not his own will, not his own agenda. He is a witness that would testify against us. Okay? He is the what? The testimony. He is the covenant. He is the what I say? Covenant, testimony, and witness. So he is the covenant too. Remember, he said, I'm gonna bring you into the bond of the covenant. How he's gonna bring you into the bond of covenant. Remember, he said, I'm gonna put you underneath that rod. Does not David say that he in Psalms 23, he said, what, my rod and my staff shall comfort me? Who is that rod and that staff that comfort him? It is Yahushua Hamashiach. For Yahushua is the what? The shepherd of the sheep. He is also a king, and a king, hold a rod. That means to enforce or to rule over people. Do y'all see how all this is connected to that Holy One that shall what deliver us from the fourth beast kingdom, that shall set us free from the powers of darkness, and we shall no longer be bound, but we shall be healed, restored, and filled with love, joy, peace, and happiness. You see how all this is coming together. And the verse going to say, and the first begotten of the dead, he is the first of the first fruits of the resurrection, right? Okay. And the prince of the kings of the earth. So he will be the King of kings and the Lord of lords. Unto him that loved us and washed us from our sins in his own blood. And this verse down below says, and had made us kings and priests unto Yahuwah and his Father. Do y'all hear that? What's going to happen to us? To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. So be it. Okay. All right. Let me see what else here I got on my paper here. We also need to go to the book of Acts to tie this in. I was talking about faithful witness, testimony, right? So we're going to start with Acts. I do recommend that y'all read Acts chapter 7 and start with verse 37 down to 44. But let me see where we're going to start at in this video. Okay, so to prove to you that he is the tabernacle of the witness, you have to start with verse 37 and read on down. So that's what we're going to do. This is that Moshe which said unto the children of Yashael, a prophet shall Yahuwah your Elohim raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me, him shall ye hear. So he was prophesied about Yahushua Hamashiach, and we'll go down where you can get those biblical precepts. Verse 38, this is he that was in the tabernacle, or you can say the congregation of Israel in the wilderness with the angels. So Yahushua HaMashiach was there, okay, which spake to him in Mount Sinai and with our fathers, who received lively oracles to give unto us. So that's your proof that Yahushua HaMashiach was there with them in the wilderness, dealing with the congregation of Israel. That's another way to say the church. The church is the congregation of Israel. Nothing has changed. What's done in the old, the same in the new. Again, the beast's been teaching y'all something different. But let us keep going. To whom our fathers would not obey, but thrust him from them, and in their hearts turned back again into Egypt. So do y'all see? They left out of Egypt, but guess what? Egypt remained in them. They wouldn't let those heathen ways go. Okay? Saying unto Aaron, make us gods to go before us. For as this Moshe, which brought us out of the land of Egypt, we want not what is become of him. And they made a calf in those days, and offered sacrifice unto the idol, and rejoiced in the works of their own hands. Then Yahuwah turned and gave them up to worship the hosts of heaven. Do y'all see that? He'll turn you over to what your flesh crave. No wisdom upon you, and you have a reprobate mind. Okay. As it is written in the book of the prophets, O ye house of Israel, have ye offered to me slain beasts and sacrifices by the space of 40 years in the wilderness? Yes, ye took up the tabernacle of Molech and the star of your god Rephaim, figures which ye made, to worship them, and I would carry you away beyond Babylon. Now here's the key verse. Verse 44. Our fathers have the tabernacle of witness in the wilderness. So when you learn about the structure of the tent tabernacle, within the tent tabernacle was the ark. And the ark represent what? That faithful witness. Who is the manner? Yahushua Hamashiach. Is he not like purest gold? Who bare the rod? Yahushua Hamashiach. Through him shall he bring us back into the bond of covenant. And he is the what? The law, the covenant. He is that almighty spirit of Yahuwah that which shall be implanted in us. And through that spirit, it will connect us to the Father and to our mother, wisdom. Read John chapter 14, 15, and 16, because only through him can they abide in us. Okay? He is restoring that which is lost from the fall of Adam, making us to be what? Adam again, making us to be the sons and daughters of Yah. Okay? Again, study the Hebrew letters. Study the word ayin, the Hebrew letter ayin. Ayin means what? I. And it also means fountain. Who is that Holy One who is the light of the body, who is the eye of the body, who is the lamp unto our feet? And that is in Psalms chapter 1, I think it's 105, but we're gonna go to Psalms to look at a verse to understand about the witness, who is what? The testimony, who is what? The covenant. Remember what the prophets say unto you, Yashrael, that the day will come, you will uh, be given a new heart and a new spirit. Ezekiel chapter, I want to say 20, but I know it's Ezekiel chapter 36. And also read Hebrews chapter 9, Jeremiah 31. It's in there. Okay. Our fathers had the tabernacle of witness in the wilderness. So that tabernacle of witness in the wilderness is going to testify against you. When you understand what those earthly things that was made in the earth that represent the heavenly things, you understand how they would testify against you. Because when you understand what they mean, when you understand what was that spiritual message about behind those items, what they were made, what they was foreshadowing, then you will see why you will be held accountable on the day of judgment. As he had appointed, speaking to Moshe, that he should make it according to the fashion that he has seen. Okay? And I'm going to pause there. Okay? So this is another good chapter to read. So I did tell you we're going to go to the book of Songs. The book of Songs. Okay? Father's reminder, me to go to Revelation first. So let's go back to Revelation 5 because we was talking about the ram's horns. In the animal kingdom, an animal who has horns represent a leader or a king when you do your study. And the prophets, such as the prophet Samuel, would take a horn that contained the oil, and the olive oil represent what? The ruach, right? So when the prophet poured the oil upon the king to anoint him for that office or position, it signified of the spirit of Yah coming upon the king to sanctify him, to ordain him for that position. That's why you see some of the kings have the gift of prophecy. Okay, so y'all, the two go hand in hand. All right. So, but this lamb have what? 7 horns, and you will see this in the book of Revelations, chapter 5, signifying Yahushua Hamashiach because he contained the 7 spirits of Yah. He has the full possessions of the 7 spirits of Yah. Now, to understand what are the 7 spirits of Yah, you need to go to Isaiah chapter 11, and you also need to read the gospel too. Okay. Like I said, I'm speaking spiritual things. Um, unto you, I know this is a lot to grasp, but um, Y'all will give it to you. Ask y'all to give you understanding. But I get tickled because to have understanding these things, y'all, is a blessing. It is a blessing to see what our Father see and to hear what He hear and to understand Him. Okay, so I'm going to Revelation chapter 6, and it says here that, and I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne. So we're in the Father's throne room. This is in what, the 10th heaven. Now, what in the earth represent that before it was taken away? It was the most holy in the tabernacle that the Israelites made unto Yah. Okay. So in the midst of the throne room and of the four beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes. Do y'all see that common thing? 7. Okay. Which are the 7 spirits of Yah sent forth in all the earth. Now you understand about the 7 spirits of Yah, what that is. It brings great power, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And who is that holy one that possess all of it? The son of Yah, who is the second Adam. Do you see the example that he set for you, O bride of the Messiah, and to the 144,000 that would take place upon you? Because this is why the Messiah prophesies unto us that we shall do greater things than him. Do y'all see these mysteries now? Okay, so that's another verse to add in the study when you study the Ark of the Covenant. Now, I do want to go to 2nd Maccabees chapter 2, because we're talking about the ark, okay? Because there's a prophecy in there. I believe it's 2nd Maccabees, or it could be in Jeremiah chapter 3. Okay, so let me read the chapter summary unto you. What Jeremiah the prophet did, how he hid the tabernacle, the ark, and the altar, what Nehemiah and Judas wrote, what Jason wrote in 5 books, and how those were abridged by the author of this book. It is also found in the records that Jeremiah the prophet commanded them that were carried away, and these are the ones that was carried away into Babylon, to take of the fire as it has been signified, and how the prophet have given them the law, and charged them not to forget the commandments of Yahuwah, and they should not err in their minds when they see images of silver and gold and with their ornaments. Quick question, y'all. What is the law? In other words, who is the law? And what does the law do? It gives us what? Instructions, so we can receive eternal life. So the law is spirit. And who is that spirit? The living word, Yahushua Hamashiach. All right, verse 3. And with other such speeches exhorted he them that the law should not depart from their hearts. Again, the day is coming. It would never depart from us. It will always be with us, because we will be what? Connected. Okay. To understand what I'm saying to you, you got to watch the movie Avatar. And also, if you like Star Trek, watch the one with the cyberboard. Again, cyberboard kind of represent what Satan is trying to do now with the technology and stuff. But Avatar represent more of the spiritual part, how we are all connected. And the living word would tell you that our Father poured his spirit upon all his creations. This is why, if he allowed the rocks to speak unto us, they will worship and praise our Father in heaven, for they are connected unto him. His spirit is everywhere. This is why the earth can testify against you, or be a witness unto us. This is why the heaven is a witness unto our Father. Again, what the Father made is alive, because they bear his spirit. All right, but let us keep going. Oh, verse 3. And with other such speeches exhorted he them that the law should not depart from their hearts. It will also contain in the same writing that the prophet, being warned of Yahuwah, command the tabernacle and the ark to go with him. And as he went forth into the mountain where Moshe climbed up and saw the heritage of Yahuwah. So this is referencing back to Torah, when he allowed Moshe to see the land. And you can go back into Torah to get the name of that mountain that Moshe went to. But notice what Jeremiah is commanded to take to that area. Okay, he's commanded to take the tent tabernacle that was established in the days of Moshe, the ark. Do y'all hear that? The ark. Okay, and let us keep reading. And when Jeremiah came thither, he found an hollow cave wherein he laid the tabernacle and the ark and the altar of incense. That's another part. That was three components. And so stopped the door. And some of those that followed him came to mark the way, but they could not find it. Again, whatever y'all say so, it will be done. If y'all do not want you to find it, you're not going to find it. Give up mankind, but mankind is hard-headed and stubborn. Okay, verse 7. And which when Jeremiah perceived, he blamed them, saying, As for the place, it shall be unknown until the time that Yahuwah gather his people again together and receive them unto mercy. They got a key word, your mercy. This is why you have the mercy seat placed above the ark. But again, through Yahushua Hamashiach, you have mercy. Again, look at all these scriptures. Like I said, you have to do some word search, y'all. You have to do some feast upon the living word, okay, to understand what is mercy and why it's given unto us, especially unto the unfaithful. Why? Okay. Verse 8. Then shall Yahuwah show them these things, and the glory of Yahuwah shall appear, and the cloud also as it was shown under Moses, and as when Solomon desired that place might be honorably sanctified. Again, to understand the feast of dedication, which is Hanukkah, it happened in the days of Moses, in the days of Solomon, in the days of Ezra and Zerubbabel, and it's another one. Josh, I think his name was Joshua too. So go back and study and see what took place in that day when the cloud came, y'all. Because this is how sanctification take place. And I'm speaking something to you, all spiritual. It's in Torah too. It's in Exodus chapter 40. Okay? Go back and read it. Verse 9. It was also declared that he, being wise, offered the sacrifice of dedication and of the finishing of the temple. And as when Moses prayed unto Yahuwah, fire came down from heaven and consumed the sacrifices. Even so prayed Solomon also, and the fire came down from heaven and consumed the burnt offerings. And Moses said, Because the sin offering was not to be eaten, it was consumed. So Solomon kept those 8 days. So I'm going to stop here. We also read this part. The same things also were reported in the writings and commentaries of Nehemiah, and how he, finding a library, gathered together the acts of the kings and the prophets and of David and the epistles of the kings concerning the holy gifts. So I'm going to stop there, but this is another good chapter to read. But notice this is a future prophecy. The tent tabernacle, the ark of the covenant, and the altar of incense will be coming back. So to see that being confirmed by a second witness, we can go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3. You want to definitely read Jeremiah chapter 3, the whole chapter when you get a chance. But we're going to look at a couple of verses in this chapter, how it relates to Second Maccabees chapter 2, as you see that those things will not be coming back until the Father gathered his people for the four quarters of the earth. So let's read all the way down from here. Okay. Turn, O black-sided children, saith Yahuwah, for I am married unto you. Again, marriage is associated with what? Covenant. How you married unto the Father? By his Spirit. Let's keep going. And I will take you one of a city and two of a family. I will bring you to Zion. That's why he's telling me now. Remember Ezekiel chapter 20 of the verse we read. He said, Well, I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, what is going to join you, what is going to connect you. Okay? And I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Do you see the Father's going to give you pastors to teach you? Not these ones of today that you see going around, but in the place that He take you in the wilderness, He's going to reteach you. Okay? So you have what? Knowledge and understanding. And it shall come to pass when ye be multiplied and increased in the land. In those days, saith Yahuwah. So this proving to y'all going to be taking wives. Again, Ezekiel chapter 40-48 will confirm what I'm saying. O nation of Israel, I speak unto you. Okay? But it's a different inheritance for the bride of the Messiah and for the 144. All right? Mysteries that I speak unto you. But right now, we're just going to stay focused on what this verse is saying. Okay? And it shall come to pass when ye be multiplied and increase in the land, in those days, saith Yahuwah, they shall say no more, the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah. Do y'all hear that? So this is proof that, they're going to know about the ark of the covenant, but that's going to be removed eventually. Okay? The ark of the covenant of Yahuwah, neither shall come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done anymore. So you need to ask yourself, what's going to take the place of that? Prophets tell you. Remember, the Father give you a physical thing to understand the spiritual thing that would take place upon you. You would now become what? The vessel, the ark that contain the one who is the manner, the one who is the rod, the one who is the commandments. And it's beautiful, y'all. But let us keep going. At that time they shall call Yahusha the throne of Yahuwah, and all nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of Yahuwah, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart. And when you look at the side note, imagination means stubbornness. So they no longer going to follow their heathen, stubborn ways. They're going to come and get online with us. Okay? In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel. So the two kingdoms shall come together, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I had given for an inheritance unto your father. So we'll be coming out of America soon, Babylon. Okay, this is the land of the north. All eyes is on us. Okay, Father gonna deliver us from Pharaoh, from the beasts. Okay, for those that they call black, but we are melanated. Remember, we are melanated beings, for we contains melanin. And when you look up melanated, it means to have brown or black pigmentation. So the way they classify us is so wrong, because if you take something that is black and hold against your skin tone, you'll see what I'm talking about. This is why I don't like to be labeled as a crayon color. I like to go by, what is your tribe? What is your nation? Okay. Again, that's something else that the Spirit would teach you. You have a tribe, you have a nation, because every nation and a tribe have what? Land. They have a heritage. They have a language. They have a custom. But y'all know our history. It was taken from us. And we speak a heathen's tongue. Okay? Let us keep going. But this is why Father said that it's prophesied by the prophet, I was speaking to you by another's tongue. So anyway, despite what the heathens did, Father still have a way of communicating with us and talking to us. Okay? But let's keep going. Verse 19, but I said, how shall I put thee among the children and give thee a present land, a goodly heritage of the hosts of nations? And I said, thou shalt call me my father, and shall not turn away from me. And y'all look forward that day where we could give him his honor and his respect, because we done so many bad things to him. So to sum this all up, y'all, I know I said a lot. Dealing with the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark of the Covenant It represents the vessel that contains the power of Yah, who is the right hand and the stretched out arm of Yah, which is what? The living word, the iron, the light, the iron and eye of the body. And there's one more scripture that fathers remind me of. We can go to the book of Songs. Who is what? The covenant, the testimony, and the witness. Wow, this is powerful, y'all. Ain't this powerful? Father is truly feeding us tonight. Okay, let me see. Songs. We're going to go to Songs. Let me go to my favorite one. I think it's Songs 105. Let me look at I have a little cheat sheet. I can find it faster. That one I have to look up. I see this I think it might be in Psalms 119, but I have to look that one up. But let me go to the one that I have now. Go to Psalms 119, verse 88. It might be Psalms 119, 105. For some reason, I'm thinking about 105 for some reason. But this is one of the scriptures I want to read unto you tonight, dealing with the word testimony. It said, quicken me after thy loving kindness, so shall I keep the testimony of thy mouth. Now that we understand what testimony is talking about, the living word, and we know the living word is what? His commandments, his law, okay? His spirit, that lead and guide us in all things. Let me see about 105. Some reason 105 is thick and strong in my mind tonight. Yep, it's Psalms 119, 105. It said, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. So again, that word will tie into that one as well. So those are two nuggets you can have. Okay. So now we see how what the Ark of the Covenant represent. It represent the vessel that will contain or that will have within itself the spirit of Yah, which is what the living word. And so in place of that will be us. We will be the vessel that has his spirit. This is why we see throughout the Bible, the theme is that, how he said, do not take your spirit away from me, Yah. Fill me with your spirit. This is why King David said, my cup runneth over, because when the spirit, Yah, come upon you, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is increased so much in you that it overflows, just as a cup of water that overflows. It cannot be contained. It's like fire set up in your bones. This is why you see me up here tonight giving y'all this word in a free flow style, and I hope you can see what I see and what you can see in the walls of Jericho. Go back and study that passage, because that biblical event is foreshadowing what is to come globally. Strongholds gonna be broken. People will be set free. Judgment will be taking place. A great bloodshed will come upon the earth as prophesied and written in Revelation 14 and Matthew 13. And out of that will come what? A remnant that would be like silver and gold unto Yah. That will be what? The vessels that has his spirit in them. Do you see what the pot is doing to the clay? All right. Hope y'all enjoyed this word. Continue to preach that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, for it's true at hand, and make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10. For the Lamb set the example of the water baptism, the Holy Spirit baptism, and the apostles continued them both. Now, if you have no one to baptize you, you can do it yourself. Remember, exercise your faith with works, for the water is the second witness in the earth, and the heavens is a witness unto Yah, and the earth is a witness unto Yah, and they can report back unto him of those who have entered into the covenant. And the Father has done the same with the Holy Spirit baptism, meaning that he has made it easy for you. You don't have to go to man to get that. All you have to do is ask the Father in the name of Yahushua Hamashiach, and he shall give it unto you. But it's according to your heart, your faith, and your works. I hope y'all enjoyed this. This was a great word from Yah to understand the mystery of the Ark of the Covenant and the walls of Jericho. And remember, I will be coming back more on this thing about Jericho in farther important time. But this is this is just a appetizer for what is yet to come according to Father will. Love you all and shalom.